Hello everybody. For those that don't know me, my name is Javier Vidana. At this point, I've made real estate content for YouTube for about 8 years. At least on this channel. I've tried many failed channels beforehand, so probably closer to 9 or 10. And I've been helping people buy and sell their homes here in the Phoenix, Arizona area for the past 12 years. This past week was a little tough for me. I had a doctor appointment that was really concerning. It's made me really reflect on a lot of things. I've seen the landscape of what home buyers look at on YouTube change over the past 8 years tremendously. Like when I first started, it was maybe just a few people, making content. I saw the COVID boom where if you literally put housing crash on your title, you would get hundreds and thousands of views and just start making so much ad revenue. And now the current landscape is you get either people that are really leaning into the market's going to crash aspect of things. And then there's the other side, people just in the real estate industry that are local or national that are like, sometimes they make it seem like they're leaning towards is the market crashing, but really once you watch their video, you realize it's just a marketing, right? They're just trying to get you to click on the video and have you like them so then you can work with them to buy or sell a house in whatever area they're trying to pitch you to buy in. To me, it kind of highlights one of the biggest issues that I see is if you ask a real estate agent or lender or anyone who benefits from you buying a house, if it's a good time to buy, most of the time the answer is going to be yes. And today I want to spend some time candidly talking to you, answering the question, is it really a good time to buy? Whether you're buying a investment, a flip, it's your first house. Maybe you've been saving up your money. Maybe you got some money from your parents and you're just wondering, should I put this money into real estate or not? Let's start off by discussing how things were in the ideal time that I thought it was for at least for most people to buy a home. And that was 2019, right before the C word happened. In this case, I'm just going to pretend you and I are sitting down and you're like, hey man, I want to buy a house. And I'm say, cool. This is what's available. If I go back and I just go look at the sold data, let's see, from single family residence, let's do 1,200 to 1,500 square feet, one story, just your basic, house. Okay, 2019. How did things look like then? Okay, so if we're just looking and getting an idea, I'm seeing a lot of houses in the mid 200 range. So they start kind of poking into the 300s, but really high 200s is going to be like your upper tier, mid tier is going to be like 250 range. I can actually just do this real quick, do a quick CMA to get the average price, and that's about $267,000. Okay, so you needed to buy a house, you only needed about $267,000, and if you look at the interest rates in May of 2019, around May 2019, they were around 4%. Okay, so if we do that math, if we get a house for let's say 260 at 4%, that monthly payment looks approximately about $1,500. The main friction point that I've seen with houses, it's quite simple. Interest rates are higher and prices are higher. Our current interest rate right now for a conventional loan is about 6.95. Now, this fluctuates daily. This is just what it happens to be right now. Sometimes it floats down to 6.7. Sometimes it floats up to 7.1. Sorry, that's my rune light letting me know that my character's been idle too long. I'm grinding for that full gray set. Sorry, the grind never stops. But let's just use the current number on Mortgage News Daily, which is 6.95. So if we do some quick math here, that's about a 73% increase from where we were then. Now, a lot of people that I've seen like to bring up if you go back to the COVID days, right? The COVID days, interest rates were in the 3s, they were in the 2s, and now they're at the 7s. And, that would be a lot higher. I think that's 131% increase, and that is a lot more scarier. But the reality is they were forced to go down, and I don't really consider them organic. So if we look at a true organic state, we can see, I'd prefer to use a 4% number. Now, a number I like to just think about when I'm feeling depressed is what is the $100,000 cost of that interest rate? At 4%, we are approximately at $4,000-ish per 100,000. That means if you're buying a house, let's say for $300,000, you're paying approximately $12,600-ish. $4 to $5K per 100,000 per year of interest isn't that hard to swallow. And now at 6.95, or in this case, I'm just going to use 7%. Guess what that cost per 100,000 is? $7,500 of pure interest, baby. That means you're paying about $300 to $3,500 per year of just interest just because rates are higher. Maybe $3,500 doesn't seem like a lot for you. Let me just kind of break down for you using my calculator here, which, by the way, if you're interested in, it's part of my home buying resources down below in the link description. So if we were to buy let's just say we're lucky enough to buy a $300,000 house, we're putting about 3.5% down or going FHA. At 4%, that payment is $1,772. At 7%, that payment is $2,326. That's $552 of pure freaking interest that you're paying. $500 does a lot to tip the scale. It's pretty insane how much more interest you're paying now. So now if we get that same search and we adjust the close of escrow date to maybe be like the last, 15 days, we'll see that 260 number is no longer there. Instead, these houses are selling probably, I would say, mid 400 range. Let me do this quick little check here. Average sales price is going to be $440. That wouldn't be that bad at the rate at 4%. If the rate was still the same at 4%, remember it's about a $4,000-ish per year interest for the first year. That monthly payment's still in the low twos, and there lies the problem. That same area, a house was worth $260,000, now being worth $440 range. This is our first issue that I see. We had approximately a 69.23% increase of purchase price values, give or take, in the past few years. In a healthy market, at least what I've seen in the short time I've been on this earth, if you're getting about 5 to 8% of value or increase of your equity per year on your house, that's pretty freaking solid. If you live in a quote unquote area that's rising, that might be closer to 8 to 10%, and that's where you're really gambling. But most of the time, I like to see that like being 5 to 8% in a healthy market. Here's the problem. Interest rates are not at 4%. They're at 6.95%. So we're getting hit twice. We're getting stabbed in the gut 2 times. We're getting a 69.23% increase on our price, and we're getting a 73% increase on our interest. If these houses are only going to be going up about 5 to 8% per year, and you're paying approximately 7% of interest, it really doesn't make sense anymore, like, to own that house. Strictly speaking, from a investment standpoint, if you're spending like all this money to buy a home, to own it, and one day sell it down the road, even though I don't agree you should have that idea now, but most people do have that idea, it just doesn't quite add up anymore. So what we see now is people buying these houses, getting that 7% interest rate, paying over $3,000 a month on a house, potentially stretching their budget. And if they're put in a position where they have to sell in 3 to 5 years, maybe not having enough equity there, because on average you're going to spend 5 to 10%, I think it is. Hold on, let me double check that. 10 to 50% of the sell price to pay compensation, to pay your fees, to pay all of that, to just break even. So if you live in your house for 3 years, 4 years, and you are making about 5% per year, you are going to be put in a position where you're going to have to come out of pocket. So we have that, just right? That scary, like, big monster there of houses being too high, interest rates being too high. Now we have that, and then now we look at how just people's relationship with money are. Now, I can't make this general assumption how everybody works their finances. What I can see is a household debt, based on what's being reported, right? Total non-housing debt is the highest it's ever been. The conversations I have with people, once again, it's a very small group of people. I'm not even claiming to even think about or know how everyone's doing. Most people I talk to are not living their best financial life. Their credit card payments are high. Their balances are too high. They're really stretching their monthly payment for what their housing should be. It's a terrifying thought to know that we have this loaded gun of the market, and we have total consumer debt right now, and how people handle their money. I have been fortunate enough this past 12 years to meet people with this quality. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. Human spirit, this tenacity, this fire. Best way of describing it, I'm once again showing my nerdiness here, but One Piece, like Luffy, right? Just that fire. People have this inner fire in them to have ownership and control of their lives. And I've encountered people that I'm just literally a pawn in their chessboard. They're just like, I have looked, check this out, Javi. I have this much in savings. I have this much in credit. I'm going to own a house in the next 3 months with or without you. And I'm going to do this. When asked questions about, the price is high, interest rates too high, all this thing, it goes all back to this inner freaking gut feeling they have of them wanting to be a homeowner, them wanting to own where they live, not being told what they do. Maybe it's created by a past experience where a landlord evicted them. A landlord let them know with short notice, hey, you're going to have to get going. Like I had a situation once where they've been living in this place. They had a kid there. They're 3 or 4 years old. They found the perfect school for them. They were about to, all the family knew them in the area. They were really involved in their community. Landlord told them they have to go and they can't find a rental anywhere in that neighborhood, right? All those seeds, all those things that were planted, just gone. Maybe it wasn't an experience like that. Maybe it was just something in them that was taught to them by their parents. I don't know. I can't explain it. I wish, if I can find a way to describe what that is, I would. No matter how crappy things get, people move forward. So all that being said, is it a good time to buy right now? Financially, probably not. Investment-wise, probably not. There's no guarantee you're going to make money on your house. The only thing I can probably guarantee is there's not going to be a major boom anytime soon. I wouldn't invest in flipping houses right now. First of all, I hate flippers. So if you're a flipper, stop watching this channel, please. I despise you. And people still reach out to me and call me. They're like, Javier, why do you hate me so much? I don't like you. I don't like wholesalers. I don't like flippers. I hate what you guys have done to the industry. Buy. I think when someone asks me, is it the best time to buy? And after I say nothing, and not for investment purposes, and I go on the same tangent I just did, probably also end up in the tangent of flippers and whatnot. I'm very predictable. I always answer back with a question afterward. How are you doing financially? How's your credit score? How is your relationship with your credit cards? How is your relationship with saving right now? How does your income look like? Is it growing actively? Are you kind of locked at this number and it's not going to move anytime soon? Just in general, how is your financial health? Second follow-up question, do you need to move? Answering those 2 questions is going to be the best indication on whether you decide if you should buy a house or not. Maybe you are in an excellent position where you have great credit, you've saved a good chunk of money, but you're kind of in a fixed income situation that you're not going to be making any more money anytime soon. And right now you're making like $6,000 or $7,000 a month, but you're in a rental for the next 2 years. You could buy if you wanted to. And your cousin Edgar, who's a realtor, is probably telling you, go get a new build, do whatever. But you're good. You have a lease for the next 1.5 years. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen people that are like, my landlord just pissed me off there. They made a rude comment to my wife, or I don't know. I've seen situations where people want to break a lease and say, F you, I'm out of here. Or maybe you're just like, dude, I just got this money now and I don't want to rent here. I want to move into this area, or there's problems with my neighborhood. There's problems with my something or the other. I get that. But most of the time, if you have secured shelter for the next foreseeable future, like we're all cavemen at the end of the day, then there's no immediate sense of urgency. So don't worry about that yet. Maybe you're the other side where you have immediate sense of urgency. Your lease ends in 2 or 3 months, or your parents are kicking you out. But then if we look at your income, your credit cards are maxed out, your credit score is on the lower side, you haven't really saved any money, you don't know how to save money, you haven't really applied yourself, then maybe it's not the best time for you to buy, my brother or sister. Here's a personal anecdote for you. This last 2 years, so let's say 3-4 years, I've been in charge of all of our finances, and just things were not getting done efficiently. There's not enough savings happening. There's not enough like projects and goals that we had together as a family were not being met. And if my wife, Mercy, asked me, hey, why isn't this happening? I would just say, well, because of this, this, and this, and this. I had more excuses than I had results. About a few months ago, she took over the finances. Not substantial change in income, no massive shifts of anything. But under her guidance, we've been able to start knocking out those goals, knocking out that credit card debt. Projects are being done around the house. How is she doing it? Is she finding a way to like a duplication glitch and multiplying our money? No, she's just better with money. If you're not quite there yet, if you don't have the financial maturity to get ready to own a home, maybe you should go for it quite yet. Because the truth is, renting a house does not require as high of a maturity level than owning a house does. You can buy yourself a house. Don't get me wrong. If your financial maturity is low, you can go buy that house and just see if it works out. But here's the thing. Your habits multiply when you own a home because you have more debt now. You have more of that restriction. You can't, what if a freaking AC blows out? What if there's more issues that pop out? You can't just call a landlord, buddy. You got to handle it. Ultimately, I'd say homeownership is probably not the best option for most people. If you want homeownership to be in your future, you need to make sure that you're working internally on your financial habits. So when that time comes and that sense of need comes, the sense of urgency comes up because of your lease situation or you're being kicked out because your parents are saying, we're tired of you eating our food, get out, then maybe consider buying a home. Maybe not for an investment, but for yourself. Looking for spreadsheets and tools and all kinds of good stuff for your home buying journey? Check out Homebuyer HQ. Links in the below.